Good morning, New Jersey, and welcome to our big broadcast here on February the 13th, 2024. And obviously, we are going to be talking snow and weather and just a big old mess out there across the Garden State. So once again, good morning, New Jersey. We're live on YouTube here. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Good Morning New Jersey on YouTube. Also, we're on the Facebook page. That's still under the old channel, the Tri-State Traffic Show that I had for many years, so you can still follow it there as well. But let's bring in the gang here. Let me do this. We'll go here. Let me just unmute first. There he is, the G-Man, Big Daddy himself. Look out. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
And there is K-Bear. There she is.
It's working.
Yay. It's funny. I saw like in the back room, whatever they call the green room, I saw like three of you. There's like three pictures. I'm like, okay, which one do I take?
Yeah, it keeps freezing. I think there's some gremlins this morning.
So I think we're all settled in here. So I think a lot of people are settling in literally because of schools closed and delayed openings. So gee, let's go right to you, man. Let's go. Let's hit it. Let me bring up the maps here. We'll go here. We'll go full screen. And it's all yours, bud. Fire away.
Let's get after it, right? So I was first a little life update, right, guys? I've accepted sort of a freelance position at WGRZ TV, the NBC affiliate up in Buffalo, New York.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's been good. So I was actually up in Buffalo doing my first shows on Sunday, and it was just so odd to be talking about a storm that was going to hammer Jersey and Buffalo, even the South towns or the southern tier of New York State, getting, maybe some flurries, especially now. So, there's going to be North Jersey is going to have more snow on the ground after this than Buffalo, New York.
What?
So,
wow.
How crazy is that? So, anyway, little life update. We're still going to be doing the show. I'm just filling in, freelancing up there. I'm still doing all of my other commitments with Eastern Millwork, the Visor Crew. So I got like 12 jobs. So, welcome to Jersey.
Hashtag gig life, man.
Right, hashtag gig life, right? Exactly. So, everything is still the same, but I am back in the broadcast world, back to where my roots began at NBC, first as a page and then at WSLS TV in Roanoke, Virginia. So good to be back at the Peacock, no doubt. So anyway, hey, we got a little storm. So as I sort of was referencing, I was on the air Sunday night and saying, hey, this is not a storm for Western New York. This is a storm for Jersey. This is a storm, North Jersey. This is a storm, especially Long Island, the Hudson Valley, Connecticut. And that's what's panning out and playing out this morning. Storm has been delayed a little bit here, no doubt. I thought the worst of it would really be overnight in towards 6 a.m. But we're going to go probably 7 to, I don't know, maybe 10 where it's going to thump as well. So you can see the radar pretty lit up this morning. Long Island in for a good shellac in New York City. As Kate had mentioned, kids have school delays as well as cancellation. Shellacking. Dizzle hasn't heard the shellac.
Haven't heard the shellacking since the Jay Engel days, and a couple of times we used it. Right.
Exactly. So we finally got something to shellac, right? Last winter was so lame. We had nothing, right?
That's it.
So we got a little shellac going on it. I'm here at my house in Monmouth County. I can hear some of the sleet and the ice pellets hitting my window this morning, but there is no snow and it was raining overnight. I'm currently sitting at about 33. Let me get a current temp here where I am this morning, and survey says actually now down to 32. Just transitioning, actually, breaking news, just transitioning to some snow.
Look out
at Mi Casa. So,
wow.
Finally.
News. Where's the music?
Yeah,
exactly. At about 7 8. Cue the sounder. Breaking news.
I do have to get some sounders here, but
yeah, exactly.
I'm a little bit further north of you, and there's probably about a half an inch to maybe an inch on the ground, give or take. So.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see it. If you look at this radar, let me go back to the radar here. And I'm going to pan around a little bit if I can on this thing. And there's the back edge, State College, and the thump is coming through. So this is I don't know. I think there's a high bust potential with this forecast here. There's not a ton on the backside. So in areas under the winter storm warning, like Monmouth was placed under, usually Weather Service does that for 6 inches of snow. I don't know if we're going to get 6. I don't think so, unless it really starts hammering in the last couple hours. And there was concern that, we could see, vertical velocities through the roof, and this thing's so dynamic and it's going to pound and all the other variables that come with it.
Vertical velocity.
Exactly. So
That sounds intense.
Yeah.
Vertical velocity.
yeah, so it's a good storm. It's a humming and hammering storm, and those vertical velocities really start firing up, and it creates its own sort of microclimate and really powerful storm. So anyway, long story short, it remains if that happens here in central Jersey. If we're in a warning, that means the Weather Service thinks I'm going to get 6 inches of snow, and it literally just started snowing. So
I'm going to put up some cameras here, so
Yeah.
maybe just let some people see what it looks like out there. So this is just south of the Driscoll Bridge.
right.
Yeah, it's sloppy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It always looks sloppy, though.
Yeah,
It's sloppy. It's ugly. This is, and by the way, this is a very heavy, wet, gloppy, sloppy snow. So again, this is your quintessential cardiac snow. So please be careful if you're shoveling, if you're doing anything. You do want to take caution. Be careful,
right.
And certainly, don't overexert yourself.
So, like timing on this, I mean, you think it's going to pull out of here earlier than what some, like the lunchtime? Or
yeah, I think we're out at lunch. I don't think that was really the problem. I think more so, I don't know how much is left. We've seen some heavier bands. So, for instance, in my case, I think the heaviest stuff was probably chewed up with rain.
Right.
So what's left, I don't think is going to get us those snowfall rates. I'm looking out the window right now. That ain't snowfall rate of 2 or 3 inches per hour. Yeah. It's not even an inch per hour. Right. So you do the math, and it doesn't add up. But who knows? Crazier things have happened.
This is true.
Hang out, watch us on YouTube, especially. Yeah. We need the followers here, and maybe one day we'll be able to pull a little money to support the show from YouTube.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Hang out, make another cup of coffee.
That's it, man.
Chill with Dizzle, K-Bear, the G-Man, and a special guest.
That's right. Our special guest, Brian Donahue. This guy, what a conversation we had the other day when we were setting this whole thing up. So he's gonna try to join us on a fairly regular basis if the schedule permits. So but it was great talking to Brian. It's been years at least for myself talking to him, but he's doing well. So we'll hear all about that here probably about 7:40 or so. That's when he said he's going to be able to dial in. So right now you're looking at a camera here on the Parkway out by the Bergen Toll Plaza, and it's just sloppy mess, really. There's really not a whole lot to tell you about, really. You can even see a little snow on the roof near the houses, but nothing like, jackpot snow. It's just kind of
when does this when does this end? Gee, is it like mid-afternoon, basically?
I think closer to noon. There's not a lot. There is some wraparound. Again, when I was on the air the other night, I was talking about that wraparound coming in off of Lake Erie in Ontario, where there could be some flakes and flurries driving all the way from Western New York down in towards Jersey. So we'll see. But the significant stuff is really over the next, up until maybe 10, maybe 11. And then it kind of dials back from there.
So this is a shot out in Warren County of 78 through Rick Holmes's favorite part of the 78 corridor, Jugtown Mountain.
Where the road blasting and the rock blasting continues forever.
Exactly. But this poor guy always got stuck on Jugtown Mountain. I'm stuck. I can slide down the hill. But,
now he's driving into PA. So I think he's actually got a closer ride.
He does. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it doesn't look terrible. It's just a little bit of snow. It's nothing.
It's slick. It's winter.
It is, yeah. I wish there was a way that I could put the comments full screen. I have to investigate that. But
send us your comments. Light it up.
There we go. We've got Jessica. Good morning from Howell. Very nice.
My friend Will, by the way, loves it when you read 10 minutes of comments. He thinks, oh man, that's awesome.
Not awesome in a good way. I can see it. Oh, wait a minute. I think we just lost K-Bear. There she is. Then we got two K-Bears.
It just keeps going in and out.
Is K-Bear napping?
Yeah, right.
Let me see if I can set this up a little better because
it just keeps freezing. Okay. Maybe it's the weather. I don't know.
How am I going to do this? Hang on a second. Let me do this because I don't have a setup to where I can put all of us on the screen. So we'll just do that and just keep us off in case your camera.
It's the internet. It's the actual feed. I see the circle of death that comes up.
Trouble.
Trouble. Wheel of death.
That's
the Wheel of Death.
We've got Anthony Mark from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. Good morning to you. We got Susan here, says hood. I don't know what that means, but good morning from Lavalette. Let's see here. We got James coming in from Oak Ridge. Tammy says good morning as well. Cliffwood, and it's coming down. Okay, very nice. Let me find another camera real quick. I blew this. Oh, that's a good shot there.
What is that?
It's the stupid DOT in the traffic roll. I get screwed again. Still screwing me after all these years like this. Cameras. Yeah, it was always inevitable. You take the camera and the thing always is like shooting the sky or shooting a squirrel. So it was 287 at Route 10. All right. So
287 looks good there at Route 10.
It doesn't look bad.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Some of it too is that I work for a local municipality, and the word went out that it was tough. It was tough for DPW to put any kind of stuff down because of the rain. Any kind of salt or any brining or any of that stuff, because it would just get washed away. So that looks pretty good, actually. I'm not gonna lie. So you guys rock. That's James. Let's see here. Now you got in my head. I'm like, oh, you lose 10 minutes of comments. That's like reading them was. It says, everyone, good morning from Tom's River. Still raining here. That's Rose Marie. We've got Parsippany, Morris County, snow coming down hard right now. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
well, that's honestly, that's where it's supposed to come down hard.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise.
Berkeley Township still raining. Be safe out there, everybody. Again, as James had said, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. We're getting close to that 1,000 mark. Cheryl, morning from East Brunswick. Vanessa said, is that Vanessa? Yeah, Vanessa. Morning from North Brunswick. See, now I can squint at the screen since I'm not on camera. Diane's glad to be off the roads. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Kellyanne Roberts. Good morning from Howell. We got 2 from Howell here. Very nice.
Yeah, man.
Irvington here, Nicholas. And we got Katie from Jackson. It just as rain, as you said it was going to. So spot on. Joan in Bayonne, good morning to you. We've got Nancy, good morning from Brielle. My good friend Celeste, good morning to you. I think you're out in Hunterdon County, Neshannock Station. Yes, good morning. I used to work for Celeste for a long time back in the supermarket days.
Oh,
Don was the produce manager.
Produce or bakery?
It was bakery, and it was far from
making the cupcakes.
She was the manager. I worked for her. She was the boss. Yeah.
Did Dizzle knows the difference between Italian parsley and regular parsley?
I actually did. I actually did work in produce. I did.
Did you do the fondant on the cakes?
Fondant.
No, I didn't do any of that. Did a lot of other baking and dealt with a lot of other, stuff that we baked and whatever. But
we need those cakes for today. That's the cake boss.
Exactly. Little Buddy Velostro, another Jersey guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is 78 and Summits for everybody's looking. You haven't worked until you worked in a supermarket during the holidays, and she'll attest to that because she's got close to almost, if I have it right, probably 37 years working there.
You have to have a lot of patience, I'm sure.
Patience and a lot of other stuff too. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Linda says, good morning from Beach Haven West. We got a lot of Jersey Shore.
Breaking news, outside my window, I see big fat snowflakes.
Oh,
Dun,
nice.
dun, dun.
Nice.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dramatic music.
The boys are going to be going nuts. K-Bear's going to be like, oh, God, where are we taking you sledding today?
We had some good sledding. A huge hill in Thompson Park. And
Thompson Park in Middletown?
No, in Monroe Township, Jamesburg.
Okay.
And man, a couple of years ago when we got a good snowfall, I swear I thought I broke my tailbone. I thought I broke my tailbone because I went down with my oldest tandem side. We were trying to be like a bobsled team. And we're like, yeah. And these kids had built a ramp, and I didn't see the ramp, and we hit it so hard that
I think Kay just dialed out. Her tailbone came back and literally bit her in the butt.
All right. So we'll wait for reconnection there from
what kind of schlocky internet does she have over there?
I don't know. I don't want to say, dare I say another company that whatever, but we got to keep it clean.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll go with Let's see here. Alan, good morning from a snowy Carteret. So good morning to you. Good morning, watching Brielle. So what I'm also seeing here, G, is a little more on the YouTube side from the comments. That's good.
Which is great.
We need all those on K-Bears and G-Man's Facebook page to switch over right now. But like and subscribe so the next time you hit us up on YouTube.
Yeah, of course. The next time I can fly in the Good Morning New Jersey private jet up to Buffalo and back, right?
I don't know what's happening.
What's happening with you?
I just switched my Wi-Fi, so hopefully that'll help.
Oh,
this is a hot mess today.
Internal error.
Yeah.
Donna says, good morning. We've got Sally here from Garrett Mountain in Patterson. Very nice. Lori says, I can't read any of this stuff. I'm half blind. Good morning from rain. Lots of snowing hard in Hackettstown. Yeah, I think Hackettstown's going to be a jackpot winner there. And good morning. It's snowing and getting windy in Morris County. Janet, we have rain in Freehold. Good morning from Wayne. Lots of snow. Celeste says 35 years. Sorry, I added a few more years to the total, but 35 is a long time. Good morning from Rahway. Snow coming down in here. That's Marianne, and we've got Anna. Only go a couple more here from Sayreville. Lori said, Alexander says, good morning from East Rutherford. And we've got Lori, stay safe. And now, like I said, it's in my head. I was reading the whole list. Look out.
You don't want to upset Will. He doesn't like it when you read too many names.
Oh, no.
You got to get the boys to come on here, too. Good morning from Forked River. Very nice. Good morning from Neptune. Yeah. Looks good. And Diane says, look out the window, and it's about an inch already in East Brunswick. All right. Very good. Very nice. Let me see if I can bring him to the camera. So, all right, so timing, lunchtime, that area, be careful.
Are you surprised that Murph didn't call a state of emergency like he did in the last two storms, or no?
That's funny. I was looking for that to see if he did. And you're right. No.
Why? I think it's definitely warranted north of the Driscoll. I mean, if they're going to end up with 8 to 12, hey, come back, Dizzle, come back, take my maps.
Yeah,
and you could see, from the Weather Service, you've got some snow totals in there for or forecasted totals. Let me say, Passaic County into Bergen County. Passaic County, forecasting 8 to 12, and I think that's the jackpot area. North of 80, obviously, in towards Sussex, into Passaic, into the Hudson Valley, north of 84, you get into Connecticut, maybe even up towards Litchfield County, you get up towards Danbury, that's a hammering right there. But look how that line extends basically down to the LIE, 8 to 12 inches in central Long Island.
Can you blow that? Can you blow that up a little bit, that picture? I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see here.
Maybe like the resolution on the page, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll bring in Chef Jesse here. Yeah. Pow. Miss coming in. 12. Yeah. Chef Jesse on the grill.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yep, absolutely. We need to get it. Well, Chef, you want to come on with us? Absolutely.
Well, there you go. Whatever you did. Oh, there you go.
There you go. You got it. You got it. Yeah.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah. Zoom goes the dynamite.
Remember that guy? Jeez.
Do you remember him? I wonder what
happened to him. Oh my God.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's it.
How's that? Is that better? So I could just talk about it. I mean, the yellow shading, that's 8 to 12. So that's the real shellac in there. And that projection, this is from the Weather Service office out of Upton on Long Island, which covers our 5 northeast counties, really. So from Passaic County into Bergen, Essex, Hudson, and Union counties involved in their coverage area of Jersey. The rest of Jersey is covered by the Weather Service office in Mount Holly. Okay. So anyway, so this is Upton, Long Island's. That's where the Weather Service office is. This is their forecasted totals for, lower Hudson Valley, for Connecticut, for Northeast Jersey. And that yellow shading in many locations is 8 to 12. Yikes. I don't know how, let me blow that up a little bit because teamwork.
No wonder New York schools are all remote. They called that at like noon yesterday.
Yeah.
Remote.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, I can only hope that Bill de Blasio makes a comeback one day and cuts another slice of pizza with a knife and fork.
And doesn't kill a groundhog again.
Exactly. So anyway, so you know what? Here, let me see if I can get back to the bear with me for a second.
Sure. While you're doing that, I'm gonna show a camera here. This is 80 at Route 15 in Wharton, and you can see 80 is starting to get a little covered there, just a little bit. little
It's
bit.
nice to see nobody on the roads though. Like that's
Exactly.
a lot of people are just
You're
kind of
right,
like,
Kay.
never mind,
Yep.
staying home.
So now this is further west out towards Roxbury a little bit towards exit 25, and that's not really looking too good there. Let me see if the camera here at Warren Street.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty ugly right there. That's
where's that? Oh, 80. What did I tell you, dude? Like 80 and north.
Yeah.
That's your shellacking. That's your shellac zone.
Shellac zone. Let me get you a big plaque with like shellac.
Yeah.
80 at 94. So this is closer to Delaware, like exit 4, just probably about 3-4 miles from the Gap. So that's looking pretty ugly right there. Pretty ugly.
Hit every branch on the ugly tree.
Hold on, friends. Let's bring in our special guest making an appearance early. I just saw him pop in here. Look at this cat.
What's up?
What's up? Let's bring in everybody together here. I'll take the maps off. There we go.
Quad boxes.
Yeah.
Special coverage.
You guys can hear me all right?
We can. Yeah,
good.
Looks good. Right. Sounds good. Absolutely. Yeah.
I had to shift locations. I normally work out of the room upstairs, and it's right next to everybody's bedroom. And we just got the call 6 a.m. this morning. The text came out that there was no school. So my wife is a teacher, and then kids. So I don't want to be up there blabbing right outside their door, waking them all up.
Got
it. That's so sweet, right? The 6 a.m. call that there's no school. That's better than getting the news at night. When you kind of you end up staying up, like to get it while you're in bed and then just be able to roll back over and go right back. That is the
nice.
I remember watching getting up in the morning as a kid, watching the like very, very local like East Brunswick Channel 8, watching the scroll on the bottom. That was, and then you'd be waiting, just be like, oh, come on, put my school up there. And then finally they get it.
That's it, right? That's old school there. You had to you can't wait for the phone call, and it was just try to watch the news or whatever. And that's kind of what I do is put the scroll K on the TV.
We used to listen in my house. It was always CBS radio. We grew up in Union Township. Listen, and they would they would be naming all the schools, and you'd be like, oh my God, I have just vivid memories of like being in the kitchen waiting to hear my school called out.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, we don't have much of any kind of a winter, like, probably the four of us when we were in school. We were trudging. I remember trudging to school and like a foot of snow. It's like, you're going.
Yeah, you do.
Like, there's no school closing.
Uphill. Was it uphill too?
Yeah, I had to walk through a park, and it was a river with with a footbridge and the whole thing, and the river was frozen.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Frozen. Yeah. Wow. And it was like a foot of snow, and like, you're going. That's it. I don't remember very much when I was like in grade school and stuff that they closed school. Like they didn't. It just wasn't on the radar.
We definitely, I feel like we went to school more in like heavier snow than what we're getting now. Like,
totally.
I don't know.
Yeah. I completely agree with you on that.
They closed schools quicker. I mean, this was a tough call because there's nothing on the ground. I mean, by 2 o'clock, you could look out and say, "Oh my God, these kids could have gone to school. What are they doing?" But it also could have been a disaster with things freezing over while they're in school, and then you have the worst case scenario.
Yeah,
it's a tough call. I did a story on this a couple years ago about what a stressful call it is for school superintendents on days like this,
right?
They're gonna take heat. They're gonna take heat no matter what they do.
Yeah,
yeah. It's
kind
not
of like the weather guy.
School is exactly right. But you have the teachers coming in from everywhere else. So you could have a school in Red Bank and somebody could drive in from Hackettstown that can't even get in anyway. So it's not just where the school is, it's kind of in that vicinity, which makes that call that much more difficult and stuff. So I've worked pretty closely with the Colts Neck administration and the Freehold Regional administration. And those guys would always be like, it was a tough call. Always a tough call.
We got Donna here saying good morning from Barnegat. So good morning to you. Let's see here. What is it? I can't see anything. Cedar Grove. You'll see, Brian. We're just flying off the seat of our pants here. Good morning. Nothing's planned. Good morning, Cedar Grove. Snow falling nicely. We got Jill here saying good morning in Point Pleasant. Let's see here. Where else we've got?
Breaking news: a plow just went by.
Ooh, yeah.
There's nothing to really plow though here. I don't know.
Say, it's scraping across the ground.
Scraping.
Let's see here. I'm even older. School in the town would sound the fire horn at 6 a.m. to close school.
Oh,
Wow.
that was cool.
Wow.
Wow. Geez. Wow. You know, where I am, they still run at 12 o'clock on Saturdays. They still run that, we call it 12 o'clock whistle.
Yeah.
Oh,
me too.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to have that.
Right?
I haven't heard that phrase in so long.
Every time that thing goes off on Saturday, it's the only other thing is the 12 o'clock whistle. And I can remember being where I grew up. I can remember being out there on the field playing baseball or whatever, and that thing went off, and you couldn't hear it. And it was ear splitting. Just blew your head off. This thing was so loud.
It was like a civil defense thing from like air raid
right.
alert, right? From World War II, Cold War kind of.
Yeah. That's right. The fact is, there's still a bunch of libraries and post offices that still have the fallout shelter signs on them. They're covered over with like I do and stuff, but they're still out there. Let's see. K Bear, for you, it says, ever go sledding on the hill by East Brunswick, right down by Cranberry Road?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. As a kid, we always went there because that was my high school, and I tried snowboarding for the first time there too, and it was terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't do it.
Is that one? Is that one end at a parking lot?
Yeah, kind of like, well, they kind of redid it, I guess, since then. But when I was there, it was a pretty good hill.
Well, I know that hill. I do know that hill.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I was at NJ.com, we did a search for New Jersey's best sledding hill, and then so a couple years in a row, we would take submissions from viewers, and then we would go out with the video cameras and just
that's brilliant.
Hit a whole bunch of hills.
That's awesome.
And there were some of them that were. Some of them were closed. A lot of hills that, like, we grew up, like where I grew up, Galloping Hill Golf Course in Kenilworth, which had tons of great hills, is just closed now due to lawsuits and liability concerns. Like, that was a real bummer part of the story. But then we did a lot of really fun hills touring around, and all these different hills all over the place. And I remember East Brunswick being one of them.
East Brunswick's a good one. Like I said, Thompson Park, man. I mean, but the problem is, once you go down the hill, you have to schlep back up, and that's the annoying part. And it's a steep hill.
Get back up. Yeah, I remember Brian, the one at Galloping Hill, because we grew up fairly close to each other in Union County, and that, I don't know what hole that is for the golf, whether it's like 15 or whatever. That is a wicked hill. I mean,
they used to call it suicide, and then many years ago, even before my time, they had a tow rope there, and they would have skiing there.
A tow rope.
Wow.
And then
really,
it was that serious. And then and people, that I can see that hill being roped off, because that one was treacherous, and there was in the newspaper clips, I did find some accounts of some pretty serious accidents. So there was people going at night. But there was tons of other hills in that golf course that were milder and easier and better, and probably,
Sure, yeah.
You said I would say still should be open for sledding. Come on.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, but like you said, or at least have one of them like supervised or whatever in some capacity where you really could get. But yeah, that was wow. Lawyers jumping in everywhere. Tommy says positively, yeah, there he is. So before I get to the comments, Brian, let me bring you in full screen. Why don't you give everybody a little update, kind of what's going on, as much as you can say, because the three of us still, we can't really say what we want to say to a degree, but we probably never will, unless it's a book that the four of us write. But
I didn't sign nothing. I didn't sign
nothing either. I quit. So
there we go. Fire away, man! Look out! Here we go.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah. No, I know. So there you go.
Tumultuous couple of months for me. Jumped off the cliff. I did the thing you're never supposed to do. Right? Career counselors never quit a job without first having another job, and I did it. I felt like I had to do it. But man, it was an incredible experience for me. The outpouring of people on Facebook and social media. I know James could probably attest to this, about how much the viewers appreciated the work that we did. And I'm not so sure if I ever didn't have that sort of negative experience, I would have been able to experience that positive wave of energy and accolades and really the sense of what the work did for people. I had people telling me that my stories helped them family get through COVID. Really, I mean, profoundly emotional stuff that I can get choked up if I go into it. But and then also that gave me a little bit of a chance for a rebound, where I got word that I was available for work, and I ended up in a great really great position here. I'm working for Red Bank Green, which is a local, hyper-local blog in Red Bank that is started by a former colleague from mine in the Star Ledger 20 years ago, covering Red Bank, and really, it's really nice riding my bike to work and covering my local town. And then the parent company that owns Red Bank, it's an offshoot of Red Bank Green, is a software company that helps local publishers and websites, news sites across the country, thousands of them now, started with one here in Red Bank Green, it's an ad platform, so they don't have to use Google and Facebook, try to keep local news alive on the nationwide. And I'm doing marketing for them as well. It's called Broad Street Ads.
That's awesome.
So really kind of like really in line with my mission of 30 years in local news, now trying to help local news from the business side, as well as doing some reporting locally in my town and keeping that, it's so important to a town to have a good local news outlet. And Red Bank Green has been that. And then on the side, there are things that I have cooking up, some side projects that I am really, really very excited about as well. And those will be coming soon. But I don't think I'm going to talk about those yet. So, but I got
That's good. That's good.
It's a good teaser.
It is.
Yeah. So I really just, it's kind of a really profound life experience for me, going from early, this fall, which was such upheaval. So let me tell you the first week in October for me. On Sunday of that week, I'm surfing in Sandy Hook and I get hit in the head with my board, right? The offshore wind blows the longboard back, hits me right in the eye. I'm covered in blood. I'm out in the water by myself. And then I end up driving myself to Riverview Hospital. Probably had a mild concussion, a bunch of stitches in my head. So that was Monday. That was Sunday, right? No big deal. That's the Monday. We get the news at our station that there's all these layoffs, and I survived that. And then Tuesday, I get the word that my positively segment is gone with the wind. And then I tell them no, thank you. So I'm out. I'm out of a job. I got stitches in my head. And then on Thursday, my 86-year-old dad goes in the hospital with a very serious infection. And then on Friday, I just get so sick that I can't get out of bed. So by the end of that week, I'm thinking, what did happen to me? I'm like in bed with these stitches and I can't get out of bed. And my dad's in the hospital and I can't go see him. And I like, my job is gone. I'm like, wow. So quite a week, but man, what a turnaround. And it just feels great to be where I'm at right now. So, and my dad is fantastic. My dad pulled through. Nice. And he's doing great, and it's just incredible. Just a wild ride. So that's where I'm at.
It's cool.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours, right? Like it's crazy.
That's totally the most important thing. Your father's all right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I guess following up on what Brian said, I was part of that wave on that Monday, that Black Monday, if you will, that the redistribution or whatever you want to call it, restructuring. But the upside was as Brian had mentioned, the incredible outpouring from the viewers, the fans, the people, the lives that we had touched. I mean, I had colleagues that would text me and be like, dude, I had no idea people loved you that much. Neither did I, and I was just like, wow, so, it was just such a same thing. So October was a very, just you're almost like in a state of shock. It was definitely a bit of an upheaval, but you know what? It was nice that the viewers were able to rally, and I still get comments every day, social media messages every single day. Right. Missed you, all that stuff. So it is pretty heartwarming, and thankfully I had a lot of college soccer games to go to in October, so that definitely helped. The sting of it.
I did a video announcing my my new gig, and then we wanted to do something I had always wanted to do, which was run through the streets of my town, recreating the scene in It's a Wonderful Life where George Bailey runs through yelling things.
Wow.
That's on YouTube, and we started on the bridge, the scene on the bridge where he's Clarence, and we ran through Red Bank, and we shot it in black and white. We had to add a snow effect. But after I did that, I was like, wow, that was way more appropriate than I even thought, because that was what October felt like to me, was that scene where George Bailey is in the house and all his friends are coming in and saying, no man is a failure who has friends, and all the people that whose lives he had touched. And I mean, this is going to sound cheesy, but that's what it felt like for me.
Right.
And then taking a job right in my town here, working for this great publication for Red Bank Green. It feels like the building and loan to me, like coming home
awesome.
to do really meaningful work, even though it's a much smaller audience. Like it feels,
just feels right.
A lot of fun. Feels really right. And then again, these side projects I have launched. Stay tuned for those. They're gonna
nice. Well, speaking of side projects, Brian's going to come on as much as he wants to. You're open invitation, whatever your schedule allows, and maybe we'll get some video stuff from you in the future, which I think will be great. I'm sure our audience will really love that, because they love you and all the great work that you've done over the years. If there's anybody who's more New Jersey, it's you, man. It's just.
Thanks, Don.
It just goes hand in hand, really. It's just the stories that you did back at the old shop were just really, like you said, impactful stuff. Impacted people's lives, brought back probably a lot of memories for a lot of folks. Just as we were talking about the Galloping Hill and things like that. That's what people remember. In their life and their times here in New Jersey. And I think a lot of times that stuff just doesn't get told. It's not all Jersey Shore and Sopranos. There's a million other things that happen here in New Jersey. Right. And that's, I think, the reason why all four of us call it home. So I've always said that it was your work was just really amazing stuff.
Thank you.
And it should have gotten a lot more honors than it did over the years. But anyway, so Brian's going to join us whenever he can. So definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's Good Morning New Jersey on YouTube. We got a ton of comments as well.
Make sure you read all of them at once. We'll
sure, exactly.
Go on for 10 minutes.
Exactly. We'll run them down. So let's do this, G. Why don't you do the again, we're going to try and do something maybe in the future with some more video commercial stuff or whatever. So let me bring in the banner for you, and then we'll get to maybe some Valentine's Day stuff, a little Super Bowl stuff.
Let's circle back around the weather a little bit, because
sure, yeah.
Actually, my grass is almost covered, so this is really going to be, maybe a little dusting, not quite covered yet.
Right, let me.
Brian, you got any snow in by you?
Yeah. It's the deck out here is starting to be covered.
Okay, good.
When I woke up this morning, it was a loud slurpy sound coming from the sky, it was hitting the gutters, and it was that slushy. But now it's big flakes, and the ground is covered. It looks nice.
Okay, nice. All right.
So here we go. The boys at Eastern Architectural Millwork, a proud sponsor of the show. So we love them for that. The affiliated companies of Eastern, it's Eastern Fiberglass, Eastern Architectural Millwork, and Eastern exteriors as well. So you've got everything from soup to nuts. So we could fiberglass your deck or put in some awesome columns, corbels, posts, outdoor showers, you name it. So again, Eastern Architectural Millwork and the affiliated families of Eastern has you covered with all the beautiful coastal rail is one of our big projects and big sellers as well. So you name it, you got a big project coming up, give Eastern a call.
Nice. Eastern Architectural Millworks. Also our friends over in historic Cranford, New Jersey. The Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery countdown is on now. Early March is the ETA for the creamery to reopen here after my good friend Ralph taking some time off to kind of recharge, retool here for his 14th season here in Cranford. Ralph's a big baseball guy too, so hopefully he's down in Florida. Maybe catches the early beginnings of spring training, which I can't believe is probably maybe another week and a half or so, like the end of February. The pitchers and catchers, I think, start to report some warmer weather and whatnot. So and that's what Ralph loves, is warmer weather. 22 North Avenue West in Cranford, 908-272-3000 is the number. Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery.com is the website, and go to his Facebook page as well. That's where you'll get the most updated time when he will reopen. But looks like early March, that first week in March, usually like a Thursday, Friday situation going into the weekend. It just has limited flavors at that point. But again, Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery.com. And again, look at that Facebook page when he reopens here in historic Cranford, New Jersey. Also, my good friend Darlene Newman. Now, I was going to mention was going to mention the fact that she has this great program at the Morris Museum this Sunday, which I will be going to at 2:00. I was going to say try to get tickets, but she just messaged me yesterday and said that the event is sold out. So that's awesome. New Jersey, representing Darley here. What it's going to be is she's going to be screening all 3 of her most recent episodes, her New Jersey episodes, which air in early March, like the second week of March. And it's really the Revolutionary War history of New Jersey, taken to many, many different sites. It's a Somerville, Morristown, Perth Amboy, and many others, Trenton as well. Goes to Trenton Barracks and does some touring there. So let's travels with Darley on Amazon Prime, Wonder Woman, Ovation TV's Journey, and especially in New Jersey PBS and PBS Create. It's on several times during the week, so set your DVR to record Travels with Darley and go to darley-newman.com for more information. All right, we thank her for the sponsorship. G, we'll go back to you with the weather. Let me bring you back in here. I got to take this down, and there you go. So what do we got?
Yeah, my man. So that's the, remember we talked about it earlier. First, I just want to throw out the Visor as well. Visor Pergolas, another company affiliated with us at Eastern. So, if you're looking for a pergola, a mechanical pergola as well, we can also do that. So, we got to get the Visor logo up there for you. So, all right. Anyway, having said that, so we thank all of our sponsors helping to make this possible. All right. So here's the snow forecast map / weather story. This is from Mount Holly. So this is the Weather Service office that covers most of New Jersey. And you can see that map is very similar to what the map was from the New York office. So, the battleground really is where Brian and I are in Monmouth County. We're under a winter storm warning in Monmouth. That's the southernmost extent of that warning. And honestly, I don't think we're going to get there. Usually warnings issued for 6 inches. So it's a very sharp cutoff. The battleground clearly is Monmouth County. You get out to the west, particularly towards Princeton, you might have a better shot at 4 or 5 inches or so. And further north of there, you've got a shot at some better snows. 8 to 12, that jackpot essentially on 80 and north, particularly in through portions of Passaic County, northern Bergen County. Hey, Ridgewood, Mahwah, shellacking heading your way, no doubt. So again, northern Bergen, perhaps, out over towards the Palisades, even as you get north of, let's say, Tenafly and Ridgewood and Dumont, you're going to get into the act as well. So again, very heavy snows up there, much less snow. I just posted a picture on my Facebook page of local radar right now. And it looks like the snow is pulling out of South Jersey. So very, very southern New Jersey. It looks like it's really starting to calm down quite a bit. And the heavier stuff and the heaviest stuff is still up north as well. So it's a dynamic system. It's potent. It's strong. And therefore, northern sections of the state are really going to, get into that shellacking. So that's the weather story. You could see here, once you get south of Monmouth, really, it's not a snow event, it's a rain event, but we also have a coastal flood warning in place. The winds are going to tick up, so just be mindful of this as well. So different impacts depending upon what part of the state you're in. So I'm just switching maps here, and you can see, I believe, let me see here if you could. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. We'll do weather by color, if you will. So the pink shading is the winter storm warning, and you can see that southern extent of that is Monmouth. Mercer's included in that, but coastal Monmouth is green. Same thing with Ocean and points to the south. That's a coastal flood warning. So I think the bigger impacts there are going to be coastal flooding as well. And then as you head from, you get south out of Trenton into Burlington County, that's a winter weather advisory a little further to the south as well. So everybody's got some impacts. It just depends upon where you are. But clearly the pure play snowstorm is north of 80, north of 78, still, humming pretty good. And then as you get south out of Somerset County, you're still dealing with that snow as well. But you get into Monmouth and central Jersey, you get south of Driscoll Bridge. Yes, it's snowing, but this is not going to be a big snow event. And the Weather Service kind of waffled a little bit. The storm tracked about 15 miles a little further south. So I think the Weather Service got a little concerned and put the warning up for Monmouth County. But, certainly the heaviest stuff is well to the north as you head into Morris County, into Sussex County, obviously the northern tier up in Passaic for my man Barry in Bloomingdale, who checked in with me multiple times when I was in Buffalo.
Wow.
So, I think I might be making an appearance on the Joe and Joe show coming up too. So,
really? Great.
We'll see. So,
cool.
Of course, two great meteorologists that have the pleasure of interning for Joe Chaffee and working with Rayo as part of the network, if you will. So so excited for that as well. And whenever that happens,
you got to let us know when that happens so we can promote that. That's great. I mean, I watch this show all the time. I mean, two of the best in the business, really. I mean, if you're gonna kind of looking for the weather stuff or whatever, and when really some of it is just some of the old stories that these two guys tell. I mean, these guys have been doing this forever, especially Rayo, talking about the storm of 73.
and our other buddy, former meteorologist that we work with, Bill Corbell, has still got his hand in the game too. So between those three guys, man, it's a trip for sure. Great guy, great men, and great meteorologists. So I'm happy to say that I've had the good fortune of working with some really fantastic meteorologists in this business. So really, I'm really happy for that and grateful. Just really grateful. So
I never worked with Chaffee. He was already gone at that point.
Great.
From News 12 Long Island. You work with him at
Pix and Fios. Right? Pix and Fios,
Fios too, right? I forgot about that. Rayo was at Fios too, I think, wasn't it?
He was.
Yeah. I know I work with Corbell many times. Great guy. I think he's a private pilot, if I remember.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And Rayo, I would go back and forth through email and stuff, trying to get some of the night sky stuff, the astronomy stuff.
Rayo, aside from being a great meteorologist, is also a phenomenal astronomer. So I believe, I don't know if he still does it, but he was the consultant for the Hayden Planetarium.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
So, very, very talented man.
Yes. I'm going to real quick spin over here to the traffic side of things very quickly, and hopefully don't tank the ratings. But it's because what I'm seeing is so it's like where you guys are, Monmouth County, that area, roadways are wet and it's slippery. So where the heavier snow is falling up to the north, that's keeping cars and people off the roads. But you're looking outside like, it doesn't look too bad when I go out. But, you got to crash on 18 in Colts Neck. You've got 295 in Mount Laurel. You got to crash. You got another one on Lawnside. Another one here along 295 in Cherry Hill. There's two on the Parkway at 109, 105. So it's kind of like, you build it, they will come kind of a deal. But, you're looking outside going, it's not too bad. And then you start speeding. And then all of a sudden this stuff is slippery on the pavement because it really was kind of difficult to put any kind of brine down. But at least it keeps the snow or heavier snow is keeping people off of the roads. You got 46 West here at McBride and Little Falls got an accident there, overturned a vehicle on the turnpike. See, this is by 7. It's that spot where it's just like rain, maybe, a little bit of wet snow. It's not the heavier stuff. And then out in Mount Olive, you got 46 shut down with an accident investigation. That's not too good. So, I mean, this list is 4 pages long. It's been a long time since I've seen 4 pages of incidents here at this point. So, but anyway, so it's one of those snow day. Did you ever do, Brian, a story on snow day, like with the kids? Like, what do they do these days? Like, I mean, what's it all about? I mean, for us,
one of my favorite weather stories that I ever did was when I was at I was at Chasing News. Remember Chasing News on Channel 9?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I just started there, and then this was really fun. So I had an idea it was going to snow. And so what we did is we had the host in the studio who says it's snowing out there. It's really nasty. We're going to go. Brian's in the thick of it, right? He set it up like it was a live shot, and I was going to be out in this. And then it cuts to me, and I'm on the couch in a Snuggie next to my daughter, playing, and we're playing Xbox. And I just played it up, right? I just yucked it up. I was like, hey, it's a snow day. And I just started at the show. So I acted like, oh, what are you talking about? I thought when it snows, we get a snow day. The kids got a snow day. I got a snow day. And then, we kind of did a little, we had a lot of fun with it. And he's like, Donnie, what are you doing? You're supposed to be, and I thought I was supposed to be a snow day. And I even had for the French toast. I did the whole thing on the sitting on the couch with the French toast. And then I remember off the side asking my daughter, I was like, hey, go fill daddy's whiskey glass up. And then so it was really fun. That was one of my favorite weather stories that I've ever done, just exploring snow day. Yeah, I've done so many permutations of weather stories over at NJ.com. We did a thing where we built an igloo in downtown Newark, right in front of City Hall. That was like 2006 or 2007. Can I share photos of that?
Sure. Can I share stuff? If you got to just share, so hit present on your side.
Yeah, I'll look. I'll see if I can find that. Well, I'll keep talking, but if I can find that in the meantime.
Yeah.
So, but yes, a lot of different types of. I've tried to have fun with a lot of different types of weather stories over the years. I remember we had this. I spent all morning digging this huge igloo right outside City Hall, and then Cory Booker was the mayor at that point. I'm still mad at him for this, and I'm calling his office. I was like, come on, this is because he was putting this image out of he was out shoveling snow for people, right? He had this whole he would shovel snow as the mayor and get out there. And I'm like, this is tailor-made for the mayor to come out and sit in our igloo for an interview. And I'm still mad at him. When I see Cory Booker, I still say, dude, you really blew it. You didn't come out and sit in our igloo.
What was the temperature to keep the igloo together? It was like
that was one of those winters. That was one of those winters, probably, let's see, 2010, 2011. We had a couple of maybe, yeah, those late 2000s, a couple of solid, it was a parking lot, one of those kind of big parking lots, and they had pushed the snow into big piles with the plows. So we just went in with shovels, carved out that iglue and turned it into our igloo storm center, we called it.
That's great. That's fantastic. So let's talk about, we have Valentine's Day tomorrow. Any of you guys, any favorite places? Did you ever do any stories, Brian, on Valentine's Day? Like, did you ever do the White Castle thing? Was it White Castle? Okay. Is that where they
White Castle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they're doing it again this year.
Are they? Yeah.
Every year. Yeah.
Did you ever do anything, Brian, on Valentine's Day? I'm sure you probably have, right?
Yeah. My favorite Valentine's Day story was a couple of years ago. This one still gives me chills. It was a barbershop quartet that actually my uncle is in Ocean County, and they would do singing telegrams. So you could have these four dudes in their tuxedos, and they would do a singing telegram. And this was the guy who ordered it up. His fiance was the cashier at the Wawa. I mean, it could not have been a more perfect jersey setup, right? Valentine's Day, the Wawa cashier.
The Wawa. Yeah.
And I remember shooting this thing, like, you've probably had this experience where you want to shoot inside a corporation, right? Like,
sure,
they can be very tough to shoot inside a store. Like, if you call Starbucks, it's not happening. If you call Target, it's not happening. But these mom and pops, that's why I love to shoot video and do stories in diners, because it's all you got to do is talk to the owner and like, yeah, come on in. So I couldn't get in touch with Wawa. They were not returning my call. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I am just going in the Wawa and taking my camera out and film. And it was great because I got the shot of the cashier and these four guys in tuxedos walk in and they start serenading the cashier in beautiful, harmonious.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And people stopped dead in their tracks. There were people like in the coffee aisle with tears in their eyes. It was just, I have goosebumps telling the story right now. It was really to capture that moment was, again, I think that's still up online too, beautiful. That's one of my favorite Valentine's Day stories ever done. And it could not have been more Jersey. So yeah, it's great. And cool. I managed to get my uncle in that too,
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you recuse yourself from stories because there's a family member involved or something. Right. But I was like, you know what? This is just too freaking perfect.
Too good.
Too good. It is. This is just so great.
Nice. I love the way you always found your story. It's like that's always the hardest part. Is like coming up with something new and different. Even just like for Valentine's Day, it's usually the usual stuff, right? But that's just so unique and amazing.
That was what I pride myself in doing. And honestly, though, being away from it for a few months, it's also I realized what was really stressing me out.
Yeah.
It just to keep up that pace of trying to do 3 unique stories a week and set that standard high like that. Being away from it, that is the Sunday night scaries of like, man, I gotta have 3 or 4 good ones. It's like, that was really grinding down over a certain number of years.
Because then it becomes more about the deadline than the actual content, and then that's where it kind of that's where you burn out.
Yeah, and that was but I mean, I'm really proud of it, and that was I was really proud of that kind of stuff that I was able to do.
I think the thing, Brian, that a lot of folks don't know is that most of those stories, if not all of them, I mean, you pretty much shot most of that stuff yourself. Now, again, I know you were looking for, you needed help in certain things, but it was just remarkable. I mean, like you were like a kind of like the forefront of that kind of like journalism, with the GoPros and the phones. And I mean, you had a whole routine, like, on how to get the shot and keep yourself in it and keep the audio right. I mean, you were doing a lot of engineering on the fly, out in the field. I mean, I just think a lot of people think that you had like 2 or 3 people helping you. You had an editor or producer. This guy was, Sniper Jimmy solo, man. He was
Sniper Jimmy.
MMJ.
Hey, so Dizzle. So I'm just getting a text here from Barry and from Chaffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nice. So just hitting them back here.
Cool. Are they watching? If they are,
no. Barry had texted me. It was a thread with Barry and Chaffee.
Okay. Well, it's a mutual respect. I enjoy the Joe and Joe Weather Show immensely. I watch as much as I can possibly. So hopefully that maybe we can get the 2 of them on here as well. Because I mean, look, Chaffee was 1015 for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Weather there. So
and back in the Alan Casper days.
That's true too, right?
Another really solid meteorologist.
Absolutely. All right. So it's a little before 8. I don't know what everyone's time table is now, whether we go a little later since maybe the schools are out, or I don't know if you got to run to get to the boys, or
I don't know. I'm supposed to show up meet with Robin and a set of plans here this morning, go over a few things, but I think I got a few minutes.
All right. Okay. So you got anything, either entertainment, anything coming up that people should kind of look for?
Well, I mean, the Oscars are coming up soon, and it's going to be probably another boring show. Right. I don't know what you guys thought about Super Bowl. What do you guys think about Super Bowl? I'm curious.
Well, the game was kind of a dud up until like the middle of the fourth quarter, and then it kind of fired up a little bit there. But
disagree. I disagree.
Really? All right.
Yeah, I know. I'm on Twitter during the game, and I'm seeing all these people saying, "Oh, this game is boring. This game is boring." I loved it, man. I love the low scoring 3 and out, grinded out defensive old school football. I love that because it amplifies the importance of every play. I mean, I can see people thinking it's boring, but I like that. I
think the blowouts are boring. Yeah, the blowouts.
And there's been a lot of Super Bowls with blowouts. I mean, that's the worst.
Yeah,
as long as it's close.
Yeah.
I got to say, guys, it was one of the first Super Bowls where I was able to catch parts of it in the newsroom up in Buffalo, and of course the Chiefs put a little shellacking on the Bills, so they weren't too wild.
Andrada in Buffalo,
exactly.
It was an all San Francisco newsroom.
Yeah, and I got to say, I mean, Buffalo is a great sports town. I mean, that Bills Mafia is alive and well. So, so it was cool. So it's the first one I got to actually watch. I think with the crew up there, the weekend crew, and it was kind of cool. For whatever I could see, obviously we had a show to put on and put together and all that. But
I mean, I still said at the game, I know the tradition of Super Bowl Sunday, whatever, but the game should just be on Saturday. I think. I feel like you get more. I don't know. I feel like you get more of an audience, and the people don't have to worry about going to work the next day. Like the whole. I don't know. I doubt it'll ever change. But I mean, certainly the one thing that's never going to happen is never going to be back in the Meadowlands again, because one, that was a little bit of a whatever dud, and they just don't want any chance with the weather. They don't want to take a chance at all,
Well, we are getting soccer.
That's right. So
let me expand upon that for 1 second. Obviously the turf at MetLife is trash. There's no way any professional soccer player is going to play on that turf.
No way.
So here's what's going to happen. They're going to rip the turf out.
Yeah.
They're going to get the sod, actual natural grass, from Tuckahoe Turf Farm in South Jersey, the same farm that produces and supplies Red Bull Arena. With now the irony, and this is a story I never got a chance to do, and it's one that I still gnaws at me. It's such a good story. The turf from Tuckahoe actually hosts many youth soccer tournaments there. So some of the pros like Danny Edelman, some of the Red Bull pros, they played soccer on the grass at Tuckahoe. Then that same sod farm is supplying grass to Red Bull Arena where they play as professionals. So it's a really, really good story. Guarantee you Tuckahoe Sod Farm in South Jersey supplies the grass for MetLife Arena for the World Cup final.
James, I know there's a place. I know there's a place in Jersey. I'm not sure if it's that place, but I saw a video recently of like Fenway Park. Like there's a lot of stadiums around the country that get their sod from New Jersey sod farms.
Yeah, that's the place. They do other professional, and it's wild because these young players play there as kids, and then now they could be playing in an arena where the sod is provided by the same farm that they played as kids, and it's all the way down in South Jersey. I think the sandy soil has something to do with it. It's really cool. I just think that's such a cool story. I talked to J-My about it. I talked to Danny Edelman about it. I talked to some of the guys, and they were just like, they're all PDA kids, Players Development Academy kids coming up through the ranks, playing there, and they all have like Tuckahoe stories playing as kids. So it's just a really cool. I mean, Brian, this is a wheelhouse story for you.
Yeah.
It really is a cool Jersey story.
There's
really
another angle to that too, which is, and I did this story, it's a lot of it is tied into Rutgers. Rutgers has one of the biggest grass research facilities in the country, in Adelphia, like that's in the Freehold area.
Yeah.
Right? And I did this story
like Elton Adelphia.
I did this story a couple years ago because my whole lawn is crabgrass, and I love crabgrass, and I think it's great. It thrives in the dead of summer and the heat, and it stays green. So I was like, "What's wrong with crabgrass?" So I went to talk to the scientists at Rutgers about, crabgrass, and so they have. It was fascinating. I mean, I was in this sort of golf cart and this endless field of all this grass and every plot is a different breed and a different type, and they're doing cross breeding. And that's how they find the strains that can be the most resistant for fields and can withstand the wear and tear. So it was actually a really interesting story about how all these institutions and different, so Rutgers will come up with the seed, and then you have these private companies and the sod farms will then use that seed, and how Rutgers helps foster business in the state, and that scientists' work creates economic opportunities and all this sort of synergy. It was a fascinating story to me.
100%. And shout out to Dan Schmel, the head. I don't even want to call him a groundskeeper because this guy is uber educated, degrees, I think from Penn State, and extremely methodical and meticulous about the turf at Red Bull Arena. So if you haven't had a chance to go, the field is fantastic. They've had that turf. I'm calling it turf. It's natural grass. I'm just calling it turf in place, probably longest of any MLS arena because they are so diligent. They are so methodical, so professional about keeping the quality of that grass to just, supreme professional level. So shout out to the boys at Red Bull Arena who were fantastic. So
yeah, I remember
don't try walking on that grass because they might shoot you.
I was ready to say that. I remember going with you, G, there for a live shot or whatever, and they were like, don't walk on the grass, don't go anywhere near it.
Exactly.
We're like on the track or whatever the hell was around the outside of that place. But
running joke, like Dan probably has like Jimmy Sniper up in the stands, like waiting for someone.
Exactly. Ooh, look out, get away from it. Move away, step away.
Yeah. But ironically, their practice facility, I believe it's Florham Park, in very nondescript facility in the middle of the corporate park.
I've it a few times. Yeah.
They actually have a heated field. So for instance, on a day like today, they could get 8 inches of snow and literally start turning on the heaters under the grass right now and run a 3 o'clock practice with no snow on the grass.
That's what we need.
So,
heated. What do you call it?
Heated
driveways.
underground. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. So I think it kind of flies under the radar, the Red Bulls and Red Bull Arena. But if you get a chance, fantastic arena, go see a game. And even if it's not the Red Bulls, whether one of the national sides are here or anything like that, I guarantee you also Red Bull Arena will be a big practice site probably during the World Cup before the final.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So it's 8:05 here. Like, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, please. Let's get those numbers up. We've got the G-Man, K-Bear, and Brian Donnie. We're gonna give him a nickname. I don't know what do you got. Gee, you're good with the nicknames, so you got?
Some of mine perhaps are not as
well. It may not be
PC friendly.
Yeah,
TV. Sure, yeah, I totally get that. I got a couple more comments here I want to hit because people are loving Brian coming on here. Let me see here now. Where is it? Barbara says, "Great to see you, Brian." So there we go. Let's see. I think Michelle is referring, because I'm leaving the old shop out of this to not get sued. So biggest mistake they made, I missed all. So I think we can read the tea leaves there. Through that, we've got Linda here, says you are all so talented. So thank you so much for that. Let's see here. Bruce coming in from Jackson says good morning.
What's up, Bruce?
Let's see here. Bob Sanders says, Bob Sanders says, great to see everybody. Happy snow day. Let's see here. Agreed on, Brian. Your work was great. Absolutely. I think I can't imagine anybody saying anything different. I'm glad you were doing this as well, Brian. Very nice. Now, West Milford saying they're getting shellacked. Allison here getting dumped on in West Milford.
Yeah.
West Milford's like up at elevation, right? Like 800-900 feet.
Yeah, exactly. That's Barry and Bloomingdale land. West Milford, Bloomingdale, Barry just sent me a picture, of course. Always involved, no matter where the G-Man is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. We love to have Barry on, as long as he can keep the PG.
Don, I found this. I'll keep going with the comments. I found the igloo photo I wanted to show you guys.
Oh, cool. All right. So you got to hit share on your side, and you hit share entire screen, and then I'll see it come up on my side, and then I can take it. Tom says here, just rain and wind here in Manalocan. We've got a nice thick coating of snow here in Hillsborough, a couple inches looking from the window. We got Whiting here joining us. We've got I can't read that. Jeannie. Sorry. Janine. Janine. Got it. Okay. Okay. Got it. Let's see. He says, hey there. There he is, Brian. All right. So Barbara says, great to see you, Brian. Love your positive.
Thanks, Barbara.
We are going to go to Point Pleasant. Nice to see you all. A rainy, windy day in Point Pleasant. We hardly get any snow at the shore. Big difference from when we used to live at Randolph. Well, yes, definitely. Sure. That's like night and day there. We've got Rose coming in from Old Bridge. Let's see here.
We got Will coming in from Brielle, who's opining about snow.
Who?
Will from Brielle.
Oh. Okay. Oh, geez. Come on, Will. Willie. Silly Willie. Geez. Why don't we bring him?
Exactly.
How about I spin the comments over to Willie and let just him read it? Let's see if he can read it any better. Jeez, I know it's like me reading the phone book, but Elizabeth, good morning, everyone. So far it's 33 and all rain in Freehold. Okay. Lisa B says she's in Scotch Plains, probably 2 or 3 inches there. Let's see what else we've got. See, now it's been in the back of my head. You got to be kidding me. Oh, come on, please. You guys killing me. My balls. Jeez. Let's see here.
That's what you get on the NJ.
That's it.
Good morning, New Jersey.
I can see myself in that room reading this, and I'm just getting roasted. The boys from Eastern Millworks, unreal. Let's see here. All right, we've got a lot of South Jersey, a lot of down the shore. Point Pleasant, Jackson, Howell, Lavalette now, rain and mix. Susan says here, and I want to say good morning, Diane in New Providence. Very nice. All right, Brian, let's see what you got. Were you able to share the screen?
I hit present, right?
you hit present, and then you go to like entire screen. It'll come up like on the top.
Yeah, I'm working through this here.
Yep. No problem.
Sniper, do we need Sniper Jimmy?
So, okay, what did you think of the commercials? I mean,
I thought they were boring. I thought there was too many. Like, it seemed like they didn't sell a lot of the space because of the ridiculous price tag, I'm sure. But there was a ton of CBS and Paramount Plus commercials, and I was like, is it usually like that? Whatever channel's airing the Super Bowl, it just felt like there was an excess amount of those kinds of like programming commercials instead of the actual good stuff. I don't know. But I mean, there are a couple good ones. The problem is now, like, they usually air the good ones ahead of time, so they're not really a surprise.
Right.
Game day.
Right. I would take you full screen, Kay, just so you know. Oh, and you just came back. Okay, hold on. Let me get you. You froze there for a minute. That's why I went.
We got to get Kay on Wi-Fi.
Well, you know what it is? It's the snow. It's, I'm in, farmland here. So,
you're saying about the commercials. Yeah, you're right. I did see a lot of Paramount Plus, Nickelodeon,
CBS content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I don't know. It seemed a lot for me, but maybe it wasn't. I guess my favorite was the J-Lo one and Ben Affleck, because that was pretty funny. The whole Boston thing.
Oh yeah, that was
and Schwarzenegger, man, you can't go wrong with Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger. This guy is, what is he, 75, 76?
Yeah, he
tremendous. I mean, obviously that's what being in the gym, 80, 90% of your life is going to do. I mean, it's unbelievable the shape this guy's in. Now look, his other buddy Stallone, with this dopey family Stallone show, whatever, this thing is like the biggest hit on TV. I mean, Stallone is everywhere. And this guy he's more jacked now, almost to the point like he's like Rocky 12. I don't know.
What's the show that he did? He had a show on Paramount, Stallone?
He has a reality show with his whole family.
Oh
no, not that, but the other show,
Tulsa King.
Oh yeah.
Tulsa King.
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Dude, Tulsa King was really it was good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah. You don't say much at times, but he just kind of goes through it. But it's he is jacked to the nines.
I thought the Schwarzenegger commercial was my favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
It was the most unique and funny and the funniest plot. And I mean, I did like the Dunkin' Donuts one. And one thing about the Dunkin' Donuts is, like, I don't know if you haven't spent much time in New England and Boston.
You don't get it. Yeah.
You might not realize how huge Dunkin' Donuts is.
Right.
In Massachusetts.
I went to school in Boston. I went to BU. So
did I.
Yeah. So literally every corner is a Dunkin'. Every corner, you cannot escape Dunkin' Donuts.
It started there, right? Did it start in Massachusetts?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But now it's like, a Starbucks in New York City is to Dunkin' in Boston. So,
But I remember Dunkin' Donuts back in the day when it was donuts. Like they didn't know anything about coffee. I mean, you always went there to get the donuts.
The donuts. Yeah.
Obviously the guy, time to make the donuts, right? The guy from the breakthrough commercial, the old guy with the little mustache. Yeah. It was always about the donuts, but the Christopher Walken one was pretty good for BMW.
Yeah, it was pretty. Some of the commercials seem like they just had random celebrities just to have random celebrities too. Like, it was kind of like, huh? Why?
Yeah. And again, like you said, Kay, it's like they release all this stuff the day before, so it kind of loses its appeal when you're trying to watch. I feel like you tune out the commercials even more while you're watching the game because you've already seen them all on social media at this point. They should just have stuff exclusive just for the game, especially at like, what was it, like 7-8 million or something like that for?
Yeah, I think it was 7 or something for 30 seconds. I don't know, but
the one was that Chinese company, that Temu or whatever. They were
all over the place. Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I don't even know what it is. Is it shopping or something?
I love the Temu commercials because I knew it was the same commercial and it gave me a chance to get up and go to the kitchen and get
more snacks.
Because the thing about the Super Bowl is usually when I watch football, there's just tons of commercials. You get up and that's your bathroom break, or you run to the kitchen and get some more food or something. And the Super Bowl, it's like, oh, what do? I want to watch the commercials. So you're stuck there and you're dying for a break. And it's like those Temu commercials were exactly. It was like, just another Temu commercial.
Yep, and the CBS commercials.
Yeah, and Hollywood seems to have kind of lost its way too. I mean, Kung Fu Panda 4. I mean,
no, I'm excited to see that.
Oh, really?
Well, I got 2 little ones, so that's our prime viewing.
Yes. The only little one I have is the screaming goat. So I mean, that's all I got here.
Dizzle's favorite restaurant's Panda Garden.
Panda Garden, yeah.
Panda Garden. One of these days, you're going to get it right, G. We're going to go to lunch and we're going to get it right.
Well, it's not Panda Garden.
That's it.
Is that a Kung Fu Panda that's hanging in the American Dream? Friday night, I finally went to the American Dream and surfed in the wave pool there. Is that
really?
Cool.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Is that a Kung Fu Panda hanging? There's a
I don't
panda
know.
hanging. There's a Shrek. There's these figures. I mean, it's such a strange, surreal thing to
That
be.
place is very special. The whole Nickelodeon zone is like it's crazy how they have it set up. I've wanted to try the snowboarding, Big Snow, but then they keep having mishaps there. So
where
how was the wave pool?
Yeah, where's the wave pool, Brian? Where is that?
Wave pool is in the water park. And it was the reason I say it's surreal is because I've never been in. First of all, you're walking through a mall with a bunch of surfboards, and the mall we went through from 8 to 10 p.m. So the mall's kind of closing down, and then you go in. I was with a group, and then they keep the lights kind of low in the wave pool, so you're in this sort of semi-dark place, and you're in the wave pool, and there's these like giant Shrek figure hanging from the ceiling, and you're trying to catch a wave. And you catch a ton of waves. I mean, I was there 2 hours. In the first 15 minutes, James, you'll know this is the high wave count. I was on like 7 or 8 waves in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're in a loop, and you get tired fast. The wave is short and small, but
does it have any power though?
It's really easy to take off on, surprisingly, because you could push off the wall. I got the hang of it after a while and push off the wall into the wave. It's good for beginners if you want to learn and get reps in, and really be good for someone who wants to learn, or for someone who's surfed more, like if you want something specific that you want to work on. And for me, it was like I hadn't ridden a shorter board in years, and I was kind of starting to doubt myself whether I could ride a short board still. And I was like, I'm just going to ride a short board, and I just got 30, 40 takeoffs on a short board, which I hadn't done in a long time.
That's great.
So it's fun. I got a little banged up, pretty exhausted. But I had poo-pooed American Dream as a big, huge boondoggle, building a mall when malls are dying. And I had done stories, expressing that sentiment. But, we got to root for that thing to work now against all odds. And the couple of times I've gone, I've been like, well, the Big Snow thing's similar. I see it as like this was not surfing. This was like the equivalent of going to a batting cage to practice your baseball, right?
Like surf training, really.
Yeah.
You can work on things.
It's not real baseball, but if you want a couple of things you want to work on, it's like the batting cages. And Big Snow is the same thing. Like, my kids have never snowboarded or skied, and I'm thinking, like, how do you get them started? It's so far to go to Vermont, and you spend all this money for a lift ticket.
Yeah.
And they're, when you're a beginner, like an hour or two, you're spent because you're falling down. And so if you could get like that learn to ski deal at Big Snow and go 2 hours 1 week, and then 2 weeks later go for another 2 hours, and then another 2 hours, I think it's 4 or 5 sessions in this learn to ski package. And then get your feet under you, and then you're ready to go we're ready to go to expend the money on a lift ticket in the Catskills or the Poconos or Vermont or something. So those things kind of like have a lot of allure to me. I'm going to go back to the wave pool. I think at some point, especially in the winter time. I mean,
call me when you go. I'll go with you.
Yeah, it would be fun. Yeah. It was pretty cool. Just the experience of how weird it was to be inside.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
When the water's sloshing around, it was fun. It was a fun way to spend Friday night.
What was the wave pool temp? I mean, just wearing trunks?
Yeah, just trunks. It was warm in there. It was, the air temps usually they keep it in the 80s. It felt like, and then the water was toasty. Right. Yeah, that felt good too, right? Because surfing in a 5 mil these days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 5 mil's right behind me, drying out right now. It's just I think 18 pounds when it's wet.
Dude, those days are over for me. I have zero interest in throwing on a 5 mil. And any more time in winter surf, my ear canals will totally be closed. Right? Every time, like your docs, every time she sticks that thing in your ear to take a temperature or whatever, thermometer or whatever she's looking for, first thing out of her mouth is, or any other new doc or whatever. First thing out of their mouth, surfer? Because of surfer's ear. So I have it in both ears.
Mm,
You know, when you get the cold water in there, it causes the bone to grow shut as like a defense mechanism.
Oh,
So yeah, so
that's not good.
no, the only fix for it is the surgery is they cut the back of your ear, they take it off and they drill it out. And then there's a couple docs that'll use like these microscopic chisels to chip away the bone.
Really?
You know,
Nope.
Let's broadcast that live. That'll be a rating there.
It'll be like Katie Couric's colonoscopy.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Wow. Gotta shave half your ear. Oh, geez. Wow. Hearing aid, maybe at that point. I don't know if that'll even do anything.
Surface ear operation live.
Oh my God. Well, you know, if anybody American Dream is watching, they want to sponsor their show, we're all takers. Now, I just want to mention, I did reach out to the couple people that I've sponsored. I haven't heard anything back yet, but we're still trying to work on what we're doing. So just bear with us. We're getting there. It's a little bit of a slower ride, but we will get there. So we'll definitely be in talks, as they say. My people will call your people. But but yeah, you know, if anybody there is watching and you know, wants to sponsor the show, we're all ears. And you know, again, Brian, you mentioned the American Dream Mall. I think, you know, we're really, obviously, I think for me what set it off is obviously the horrible paint job that they decided to put on it when they first started to build it. So then it just became literally, there was no Instagram or anything. That was like the meme of New Jersey. It was this stupid looking building with just the worst paint job in the world. And wasn't it Christie that, didn't he paint it? Like you try to get rid of it or something, like whatever.
So,
and then
that's when it was back. It was called Xanadu, right? I mean,
Xanadu, right.
The history of that place is just one crazy Jersey tale of political deals, and it's just bonkers. I mean, you know, books will be written about it.
Sure.
It was called Xanadu, and it had that paint job. It looked like the Fruit Stripe gum package.
Oh wow, yeah.
And Christie called it, famously, I think, the ugliest building in America.
Yeah,
he probably was right in some degrees. You know, I mean, it was that was pretty ugly, and you know, and I think that's just kind of set it off. And I mean, that was like it was what, it was had to be like a 20+ year project from start to whatever. It's still not even finished, really. I think, you know, still a lot of stores moving in.
It went through several economic cycles, right? So it was started, and then there was the crash in 2009, and then a whole different company took it over. You know, it was tied into Lehman Brothers or Goldman, you know, all the crash of the financial industry. And then, like, in the meantime, like, the entire retail landscape, it lasted long enough that the entire retail landscape changed, and people stopped going to stores, and now they're like, "Oh,
what do we do now?
We're got to be mostly entertainment." And then the family that runs the Mall of America came in and took it over. It still faces a very uncertain future, right? There's a lot of bondholders. There's been some missed payments in the bondholders, and I think there's even some fights with East Rutherford over tax and sewer payments that they have missed. The Meadowlands has a history. You know, there's a book by Robert Sullivan called The Meadowlands. It talks about how the Meadowlands, you know, humans have tried to have so many schemes and plans with the Meadowlands over the years. They were going to build a jet port there, and they were going to build a city there, and like going back to the 1600s, and nothing ever works. It just sort of, it's like things just sort of sink into the muck there. All human designs on the Meadowlands seem to eventually fail. And I've spoken to the author of that book, Rob Sullivan, and I said, man, you're gonna have a new chapter to add to your another edition of your book at someday with the Meadowland, if the American Dream goes the way of the.
Now, weren't you in the kayak or whatever along or near the Meadowlands in the river there? Was it the Hackensack River, or you were doing something? I remember it with near the arena or whatever. Yeah,
that was when it opened. Yeah, and they were talking about transportation troubles and how you know the predictions for American Dream were that they were going to have X millions of visitors a year. And they kind of painted themselves in a corner with that, because it was like, wow, you're setting this bar so high and saying this is going to be so successful with so many visitors. But then the question arises is, how do they all get there?
How do they get there? That's going to be a huge issue for the soccer game too.
Yeah. So I when they opened it, my spin on it was, let's see, you know, if you can get there by kayak. So I kayaked. I launched from a kayak launch in Sea Caucus, and then went down the river. And then they were gracious enough to send the news chopper out and fly above me.
Wow.
So I'm like paddling down the Hackensack River with the helicopter above my head. That was fun. That story turned out really well. And then I was able to dock in Carlstadt. From Carlstadt, you can dock your kayak and walk to American Dream. So yeah, I was able to do it.
That's great. That's is your amazing imagination and putting this together. I mean, you're not going to get that from anybody. And you know what? You're not going to get that from any reporter that they bring in from like the Midwest or somebody they want to first put on TV to do traffic, because that's usually where they dump them, is in traffic, and you get people have aspirations going to the city. You're not going to get that from anybody unless you're born and raised and live here. You can't emulate that. You can't teach that to anybody. You can't teach what Jersey is about to anybody.
No, that's there's a larger issue there too, which is local journalism and local journalism's ability to hold on to its reporters and its talent, people with institutional memory. Right? I stole that story for myself. I had kayaked to the Meadowlands back when the Super Bowl was there, and they were telling everybody to take mass transit. And I said, I got Robert Sullivan, that author who had written the book about the Meadowlands, and we tried to kayak to MetLife Stadium. So that was a video I had done years earlier. I kind of stole that idea for myself. But that shows you, a newsroom needs diversity of all types. It needs diversity of experience. It needs diversity of age. You need young people in newsrooms, and you need people who have 20, 30 years experience to have that kind of perspective on stories. I don't know what I would have done in a newsroom when I was 25 years old if I didn't have the 60-year-olds there. Helping me through and telling me,
guiding you through.
Oh no, this is the third time this mayor's been indicted. I thought this was new. Just the context and the perspective, and you need that, man.
Right.
Local news is in danger of losing that.
Exactly.
And not just our alma mater, all local news outlets.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Right. No, absolutely everywhere. Yeah. I think G had a run. I don't know if he's coming back or not. So just so everybody knows that we just didn't cut him out of the show altogether. He had a run from it. So
where'd he go?
We'll see. We'll see if he comes back here for a minute. And I don't know what your timetable that you guys have, but if you want to go for another 5 more minutes. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Hi, Amy.
Miss Positively New Jersey so much. Let's see here. We got a couple more comments here. Patricia says, so happy to see Brian on. I love seeing you all. What a mistake they made. I let them know my feelings. Very nice. Very good. Let's see here. Cindy says, you folks look so great. Good luck. Good morning here to Beverly. So great to see you all. As the comments are coming in so fast, that's just trying to kind of keep up. Let's see here. Now, I'm assuming this has got to be the real deal. I hope it is. Is this the Kevin Corey? Great to see you all. Kevin Corey. Talk about a guy with stories, New Jersey stories.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a story in himself, first of all. Great guy. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Again, you just got to get him on the right. You got to get him in the right space, whatever. And then, because it could go sideways really quick. And it's all out of love. It totally is all out of love. It's got nothing to do with whatever, but
He was an assignment desk editor.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was kind of like the quarterback in the newsroom. Right.
Yeah.
He was kind of the quarterback in the newsroom. Dishing out the stories or whatever. But again, it's all that stuff that you said, with the newsroom experience.
Knowledge, right? Kevin Corey is the guy who's been there for,
This guy knew Trenton like you would not believe, because he was a photographer and he was down there all the time. Knew all the ins and outs, and was always. It's like it's like, what is that whole Jersey thing? I got a guy. Well, Kevin always had a guy.
Yeah, always.
And it was like he knew somebody in like the press office of like Hackettstown Police Department. It's like, dude, how do you possibly know this person? I work with work with him 30 years ago, whatever the case is. But he's saying it is indeed the Kevin Corey. I think, Kevin, you got to come on. We got to get you on the show. Absolutely.
Got some great stories.
He says, thank you. So yes, we'll try to book Kevin. My people will talk to your people, Kevin. Yes. Although, he's a big golfer, and he was probably playing golf this entire weekend, being 60 degrees. So the snow is probably a little bit of a setback. But anyway, so I think that's a good way to kind of wrap up here this broadcast here. So again, Snow, gee, like I said, I see somebody walking in. I think he may be coming back in, so we'll give him another 30 seconds. Gee, I don't know if you can hear us. Hello, anybody? Anyway, so look at the snow and all this mess. So hopefully be over by early afternoon. Just kind of be careful out there on the roads. Obviously, we've been telling you that the snow days for, half the state for the most part, delayed openings or whatever. But yeah, so Brian, it was good to see you. Somebody here, will you be doing some stories for us? And I hope that's the case down the line. So I know we told
Don's such a such a manager. He's like, he's gonna be doing stories for us.
No. Well, we talked about a couple ideas. I don't want to give them away, which I think are kind of cool, just some real kind of simple things that, manageable stuff for what our little broadcast. And
this is fun, man. I like this freewheeling conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great. Fun. So again, we're still trying to figure out the schedule when we're coming on and that kind of stuff. So just stay tuned to all of our social media pages and whatnot. So hopefully it'll be, we're going to do it once a week. So that's kind of where the space is. And this Tuesday thing seems to work for the most part. Everybody coming off the weekend, want to do Monday. Anyway, I'm rambling on because the caffeine is kicking in. So like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got to get to 1,000 subscribers and things kind of change there. And again, that's like one of the biggest things. So Brian, thanks for joining us here. Maybe we'll see you next week with our show or whenever you want to come on. You got the carte blanche, and we'll see if we can get Kevin Corey and maybe the Joe and Joe weather guys will make an appearance on our show. Okay, always great to see you. Anything you got to plug? Anything you got coming up people can see?
For me, no. You can always find me on social media.
Yeah.
That's what I'm keep up with the bear. Yep.
Cool. And Brian, you got a website or anything? YouTube? You mentioned a YouTube channel or anything? Or what about the Red Bank site? People can read some.
It's redbankgreen.com. It's mostly local news and mostly stories I'm writing. A little bit of video, but I'm back to writing, which kind of feels good too. So that's mostly of interest to people within Red Bank. But
so
stay tuned. There's some broader statewide initiatives.
So it's redbankgreen.com. Redbankgreen.com. So definitely go there. So I know the G-Man says goodbye.
Bye.
So I think we're going to end it there. Hold on. This is my father's idea. I got to get the music in here because I won't hear the end of it. I got to find it. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. Let's let it come up. Come on. Chugging along. There we go. Good morning, New Jersey. Enjoy the snow. We will see you next time.